when spiders build their web, under normal conditions, they would build their web in a geometric shape, you know what I'm saying, using sacred geometry, basically, for themselves. And as long as the spider stayed on his grid, he wouldn't have to eat, and he would continue to grow. But the moment he left his grid, when he came back, he would have to eat something. That's why he would often have food stashed before he leaves his grid to go out and venture out. Remember that, what I just said. Hey, yo, peace, it's your man on Judge, man. Coming right back. I do some of that real talk real fast, man. Hey, man, sacred geometry. There's an experiment that I'm quite sure many of you have seen where they take a doggone a sound generator and they place a plate on a speaker, and then they put sand on it or salt, and then they turn on that sound generator and turn the knob on it and change the vibrations on it, and it creates these certain sacred symbols and stuff. Now, this is the thing. Those symbols were made by the invisible, the sound, the invisible. But when you look at that symbol is still resonating that invisible sound. So it affects you. So symbolism is important. You need to use this to your advantage. Now, back in the days, we used to live in these big old towns and stuff. That back in the old world, back in the 1100s and all that stuff here, even right here in America. We used to live in these old towns, and we would have these buildings set up. All kinds of different buildings. Now, each of these buildings were built with sacred geometry. Now, the reason why they were built with sacred geometry is because those buildings used to feed us. We didn't have to eat. See, a lot of times, a lot of those buildings that I just showed you, those buildings are from the old world. And when they went into those buildings, they couldn't find bathrooms. The reason why they couldn't find bathrooms is because we didn't need them. Because we fed off of the energy that was coming off of those buildings. Those were etheric machines that fed us. The most that they would do was they would have fountains all over the doggone place, and the fountains were making water droplets and go into the air, and those water droplets would ionize the air, which would make a stronger connection between the sacred geometry and us. You know what I'm saying? So we became one with the machine. That's why, man, if you did happen to get sick, you would go inside of certain buildings, and the buildings would make you feel better. They would heal you. That's why, man, when the new founders of this new world that we live in right now, they found those, because they had the knowledge. They found those old buildings, and they was like, you know what? Well, this was a healing center, so we're going to turn this healing center into what? A church. That's where your cathedrals come from. That's why your galactic memory was like, shoot, people went into this thing and they were like, damn, something about this seems familiar. And then they start hearing the preacher talk, telling them some BS. And they was thinking the preacher was healing them, but it wasn't the preacher that was healing them. It was the vibrations coming off of that doggone building. That's what was healing them. You see, man, like I said, we used to grow. We didn't have to eat. And we got bigger. We were real big, We were real big, man. 8, 9 feet tall, 10 feet tall sometimes, you know what I'm saying? We were real big people, man. That's why, man, you'll find these things called, they tell you about all the giants that they find here in America and North America. Look. Oh, time out. A lot of these national parks are cemeteries for the giants. That's why they have them under surveillance and have places where you cannot go in these national parks. I digress. But yeah, man, sacred symbolism, man, it could charge you up, man. As time goes by, tell me if you want me to start getting into symbols and how to use them. Because I'm still trying to figure you out. And I know you're probably still trying to figure me out. But once we meet, and I know that all of us are ready, I want to take us to a place that many of us had never been before. Peace and blessings. Hope you get some from this. I'm out.